everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. Thank you all for stopping by today. So in today's video, we're going to take a walk through my trash. I have a bunch of empties here that I've been saving to do this video. Let's just get right into it. So I've been saving up all my empties here to do this video, and I will be giving you full reviews on the products that I pull out of here, because I've used these for a while and I have final thoughts on each of the products. So let's start off with some skincare. So let me pull all my skincare out. That's it. Okay. So to start off with a cleanser, this is from the brand number 7. This is the Lift and Luminate Dual Action Cleansing Exfoliator. This is the number 7 Lift and Luminate Dual Action Cleansing Exfoliator. The nice thing about this is it's an everyday kind of cleanser. The granules in there, I'm not sure what they are. I can't tell by the ingredients, but they're not plastic. I know that number 7 does not use plastic, any kind of plastic or anything harsh in their exfoliators. This is such a gentle exfoliator. It's a cleanser with some very fine granules, and it's safe enough to use every day. I love to keep this in my shower, and every morning when I shower, I definitely wash my face with this, and my face feels so soft afterwards. This is something that I will definitely repurchase, and I've completely added this one. So that's the number 7 Lift and Luminate Dual Action Cleansing Exfoliator. Then for toner, I have 2 that I've used up. This is from the brand Aven, and this is their Gentle Toning Lotion. And this is for dry to very dry, sensitive skin. I do have quite dry skin, and I really enjoyed this toner. It has a light fragrance, which I love. It made my skin, even before moisturizer, feel nice and soft. Yeah, this was a good one, and I would definitely repurchase this one. And then I have this one here from Murad. This is the Hydrating Toner. The spritz on this is a little strong, but I don't mind that necessarily because it is a toner and not a setting spray. So it's more like a toner mist. This actually is very hydrating. This has no alcohol in it. And it's just, I loved it. I love it a lot. Makes my skin feel good, and I've used up the whole thing. Love that one. Then for moisturizer, it took me a little while to use this up, but I finally did. This is the Elemis Pro Collagen Marine Cream, and it's a pricey kind of moisturizer. I think I got it in an Ipsy or a BoxyCharm, but the price on this is very, very high. I don't know that I would personally pay that for a moisturizer, but I love this one. As you can see, it's totally empty. I love the aroma of this. It's just, it's hard to describe. It's a lovely, light, almost spa-like fragrance, but with a tiny touch of floral in there. And I loved this. It's just a good old standard anti-aging moisturizer. It made my skin feel tremendous after using this. Very hydrated. If it wasn't so expensive, I would definitely repurchase that. Now let's go into some primers that I've used up. I've got 2 of them here, I believe. So the first one is from Bobbi Brown, and this is the Vitamin Enriched Face Base. This is my Holy Grail Hydrating Primer. And this one is pretty high too. I don't know that it's as much as the Elemis, but I like this one as well. Oh God, man, I love the fragrance on this. It smells like orange, like a vitamin C burst. And every time I put this on, it just wakes me up, and I love the fragrance of this. But you can see I used that sucker right up. Again, it's my Holy Grail Hydrating Primer. You could use this alone as a moisturizer, but really it's a base for makeup, and it works really well. The foundation goes over it smoothly. You know, as far as length of time, It keeps your foundation on. I would say you get a solid 8 hours anyway using this. But then I like to use a setting mist over my makeup, and that really kind of extends the wear a little bit longer. But my number one, I have a backup of this in my drawer, but I want to finish up a couple of primers before I pull my backups out. And for a pore minimizing primer, I have this from Tarte. This is the Clean Slate Timeless Smoothing Primer, and holy cow, this is my Holy Grail pore minimizing primer. As you can see, it is totally empty there. This has a thick consistency. It blends right in, minimizes the pores. Don't use too much of this in one area because it can pill up and flake off. But if you just pick it up with your finger or use a little, applicator, pull some out. And what I do is I rub it between my fingers just to sort of get the consistency going. And then I pat it where I have all my enlarged pores. And it totally blurs the pores, hides the pores, fills them in. Again, a holy grail. And I do have a backup of this as well. Okay, let's go on to complexion and face. So I think I've got all of that. All right. So one thing I want to talk about now, I want you to keep in mind that the majority of what's in my empties is truly empties. But I do have just a few things in here, a couple of mascaras and a couple of other products that I have not finished, but I will not be using. And they are such a thing that I cannot pass them on. So anyway, let's keeping that in mind, let's go with this one. This is from Physicians Formula. This is the Natural Defense Total Coverage Concealer with SPF 30. I think it's a great concept, but I don't think this is full coverage. And it is, I find, somewhat difficult to blend under my eyes. And instead of making them look smooth, I think it kind of accentuates the crepiness that I have. So this one, I've probably got about that much left. I'm looking in the light here, and I think I have about that much left. And I did not like it. And because it's a sponge tip sort of applicator there, I can't pass this on to anybody else. So that will be leaving my collection as well as the empties. So that's not anything I'm ever going to repurchase. I did not like the consistency, just not for me. Moving on, then I have here a powder. I finally finished my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish powder. As you can see, I have really got all of that gone. It took me a while, but I did use it all up. This powder is phenomenal. This is kind of a pricey powder. I do have a backup in my backup drawer. So when I'm ready to pull it out, I have it handy. But if you don't want to spend the money on the Charlotte Tilbury, go to number 7, to the Lift and Luminate Triple Action Translucent Finishing Powder. This is a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury. Both of these powders, this is one of my favorites, but this powder is gorgeous under the eyes to set your concealer. It sets it in place. It's very fine, just like the number 7. And it is, you can use this all over the face. It gives you such a beautiful finish to your complexion. So I'm very happy to have that done. Then this is another one of those products that I purchased to use, and I just didn't like it. This is the Physicians Formula Organic Wear Dewy Blush Elixir with Superfruits, and this one is in the shade Pink Berry. I used, I would say, probably maybe a third of this, trying to get it to work. And I just, no matter what I did, it just sort of goes on and disappears. But on top of that, when you're trying to even use your fingers to tap it in, you see all of your imperfections underneath because it really moves the foundation around. So this was not one that I personally liked. And this one's leaving my collection today. Then we'll talk about a quick spray here. This is just a little baby. This is the MAC Prep and Prime Fix Plus. This is in the rose scent. This, oh my gosh, this smelled so good. I used to love using this. I rarely used it as a setting spray, but on occasion I did. But mostly I loved it just to dampen my brush and foil a shadow. So I used all of that little baby one up. Then let's go on to some brow products here. So I've got, looks like I have 3, 4. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed a setting spray. Let's keep that going with the category. So this is one I had almost finished up. This is the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist in Sweet Peach. This was a collab they did with Sweetie. And this definitely, see if it still smells like peaches. Oh, I can't get the cover off. Yeah, it has the most incredible peach aroma, but I finally used this all up. Actually, you know, I had used quite a bit of this already, but when I was going through my collection, I just decided, you know what? I'm just going to use this all up. There wasn't much left, and I'm glad I did. So, if they came out with another peach scented setting spray, I would pick it up. I love the Morphe Continuous Setting Spray. It's like a fine mist that it's just like a cloud. And it is so, so refreshing. But it sets your makeup and it makes it last quite a long time. So anyway, so there was the other setting spray that I finished off. Now let's go into brows. So I still have quite a few pencils that I'm working on, and I haven't quite finished those up. My Precisely My Brow is almost at that point, so that might be in my next empties. But this is another Benefit brow product that I absolutely love. This is their Brow Micro Filling Pen. I used to use the Urban Decay Brow Blade, but I just was not patient enough with that one because that was just a single little felt tip, and you know, it took forever to flick in. Whereas this one from Benefit is 3 prongs. And so it made those lines a little faster, you know, and I find with the 3 prongs, it just tends to look more natural. And I love this. I wear this one all the time on my brows alone with a little brow gel over it. And it works great to fill in the brows with nothing else other than gel. And I love the color on this one. This is in light brown and it just works really well. And I have repurchased it. I have a backup in my backup drawer, which I have another brow pen I'm working on right now. So as soon as I'm done with that one, I'll pull out my backup of this one. So again, a great brow filling pen. I love the shade. I love the application of it. And I use it alone. My favorite way to use this is after I fill in my brows with my Precisely My Brow, I take this and I just use it in the beginning and make those little hair-like strokes at the beginnings of my brows. And it does such a good job, very natural looking. And when I run out of my backup, I will repurchase that one. Now on to some brow gels. So I did purchase these 2, one of which I purchased from Sephora, the other from Ulta. So let's talk about the Sephora one. So this is from Milk Makeup, and this is their Cush Clear Brow Gel. Okay. I did not like this one. I used up pretty much, I would say, a good, God, if I can't even see in there, it's pretty much gone, but I determined fairly quickly on that I really did not like this one. The brush is okay, but I found I had to keep putting this in and brushing through and putting it in and just to get through the brows. And I swear it does not, for whatever it does not pick up enough brow gel. So whatever the process they have in there, I think the hole inside is so small. So I think that needs to be enlarged just a little bit to really get in there and get some of that brow gel. So I did use up about, I would say 85–90% of this. So that is not anything I will repurchase. I wasn't a big fan of that one. The next one that I have is from Covergirl. This is the Easy Breezy Brow Clear Brow Gel. And this, very similarly to the Milk Makeup Cush Brow Gel, this is the same thing. All right. The one thing about this one, however, is the bristles are very sort of rough. And when I was going through the brows, I felt like I was scratching my skin underneath. And the same thing, you put it in and you pull it out, you go through and you're like, wait a minute, you know, and you put it in and you pull it out and you go through. And it took me like 3 or 4 times to really cover my brows with the gel. And I just didn't like this one. And again, this is another one that I gave a good try to, but I just don't like it. And then the last brow product I have in here is a true empty, and this is from NYX, and this is the brow glue. I have one in my drawer, my everyday makeup drawer I'm working on, and I have another in my backup drawer. This is one of my favorite clear brow gels. I love this. I finished this sucker right up. I love the size of this brush. And, you know, as I've said in, oh my gosh, I'm throwing it around here. And as I've said in other videos, you pull it out and you're like, holy cow, that looks like glue. That for sure looks like glue. But I gotta tell you, it breezes through your brows, sets them so they stay in place. But when you run your finger over your brow, it does not feel stiff and sticky like a hairspray would. Some people take their spoolie and spray it with hairspray and use that to go through their brow. I find that makes the brows real crunchy. And during the day, if I put my finger on a crunchy brow, I'm going to be picking at it because I don't like that crunchy feeling. This dries the brows down so they are super, super soft. Oh my gosh, just so soft. Yet they hold the brows really well. This is a favorite of mine. And as I said, I have a new one in my everyday makeup drawer and I have one in my backup. Now, let's move on to some shadow. So I just have a couple of shadows here, and I have a ton of mascaras. The only shadows I have in here right now that are empty is my Wet n Wild Color Icon Single in Brulee. I have been using this for years, and I mean, these are totally gone. One of these fell and cracked, but I still have a tiny bit left in the corner there. And I used up, I would say I had, at that point anyway, had used up about 95% of it. And so there was just some in the corners here that I was trying to dig out with a brush. So when it fell, they kind of all broke up. So, but for all intents and purposes, it was definitely gone. And this is, let's see if I can get that tiny bit out of the corner there to give you a swatch. It's a light skin tone kind of shade. And it just sets, I don't know if you can see that right there. It just sets your, your shadow primer really well. I prefer, as I've said in many of my videos, if not all my videos, that I prefer when I put shadows on that it goes over a powder because it glides better than straight over a shadow primer. So what I do is I put my eye primer on, blend it in, and then I use this single to set it. You don't see any color change. It's the exact same color as my skin for the most part. And it blends, you know, it sets the shadow primer super well. And then I can put pull out a shadow palette and then just apply my shadow right on top of it. So this is definitely a holy grail of mine. Now we get on to mascaras, and I must have 20 of them, no lie. Let me pull out the ones that I did not like. I literally have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, literally 20 mascaras here to talk about. Let me get my box out of the way here. All right, let's talk about the mascaras I did not like, and then we'll move over to the ones that I did. All right, so I'm going to grab the drugstore ones first, and then the high end I'll leave for last. Okay, so these now are the mascaras I did not like. So I saw this at my local CVS, and I said, wow, I am going to give that a try. This is the Essence Volume Stylist 18-Hour Lash Extension Mascara with Lengthening Fibers. Well, let me tell you something. If there were lengthening fibers in here, I did not ever see them. And this definitely did not lengthen my lashes whatsoever. I like the wand, how it tapers and is very narrow. I love that about mascara wands. The second thing I did not like about this was the formula is so thick and it's not even, I don't even want to say goopy. I mean, it is solidly thick. And I had the hardest time coating my lashes with this. So this is one I will never repurchase because I hated that. And don't get me wrong, I love the Lash Princess mascara. I think it's one of the best. The next one I have here is from Milani. This is the highly rated mascara. This was just okay. It was sort of meh. I didn't really like the consistency on this. This one has a little bit of a thicker wand there. So it's not my favorite, but it's not a bad one. And as I said, this was just such a thick formula. Again, one of those that I had a hard time coating my lashes with. This one here is from number 7, and this is their new one. This is the Full 360 Ultra Nourished Panoramic Lashes. And I had such incredible high hopes for this one. I really did. But let me show you the size of this brush. It is absolutely massive. Look at the size of that wand. It is huge, absolutely huge. That right away I had a hard time with. I have small eyes, so trying to get in there and get the mascara on there was just, it was a joke. I got it everywhere. It was just a mess. Not a good one. Not a good one for me at all, and I will not repurchase that one. Let's talk about this. This is from Covergirl. This was the Lash Blast Lash and Brow Serum. I got this in gratis when I used to work in the beauty industry. And I did give this a try. I really don't think this did a whole lot of anything. This you actually brushed on your lashes rather than a serum that you just take a brush and line along your lash line. I didn't see anything with this one, any kind of, you know, lengthening or anything. I think this was mostly a conditioning serum versus a growth and lengthening serum. And that's okay, but I don't care if my lashes are soft or not before I apply my mascara. They're going to get gunked up with mascara anyway. This one here is from Honest Beauty, and this is their duo. So there's on this side with the sort of salmony, light salmony color is their primer. And I liked this. This reminded me of the brush of the, what's the primer that I love? The Lancome Sills Booster, I think, is like this, except that one's just a teeny bit whiter. But this did nothing. I would brush this and brush this and brush this on my lashes, and nothing would come off. I mean, if I go like this, the only thing comes off is whatever little bit there is at the tip. So that really didn't do much for me. I liked the mascara end, however. This reminds me of the Maybelline Sky High mascara wand. I love this kind of wand. And I don't mind the mascara. It's not one of my favorites. It's not something I'm going to run right out and repurchase, but in the future I could potentially pick up another one of these. I wish just she had the mascara without the primer though, because that did nothing for me. And lastly, on the mascaras that I didn't quite finish and was not happy with, is from e.l.f. This is Lash It Loud Volumizing Mascara. And this was hyped up when it first came out. But again, it's one that I just really couldn't get into. I don't mind the rubber wand. It's a little thicker than what I like, but it's not bad. And I just couldn't get this to really coat my lashes. I mean, it just, I just couldn't get on with it. It just didn't really do anything for me. So I won't be repurchasing this one at all. Now let's move on to the high-end ones that I did not finish and don't like. So this first one is from Doll 10. This is the Effort Lash XL Lash Expanding Mascara. So that tells me it's more of a volumizing mascara versus a lengthening one. And I prefer lengthening mascaras. So here's what the wand looks like. It is much bigger than what I'm accustomed to using. So I didn't like that right off the bat. And the formula is okay. It's not a bad mascara necessarily, but it just didn't do anything to accentuate my lashes and make them look longer than they really are. So that's not going to be a repurchase. Then you people are going to think I'm cuckoo, but I don't like the Fenty Beauty mascara. This is called, it doesn't even say what it's called, Full Frontal Volume Lift and Curl Mascara. I did not like this one, and it's primarily the wand. It has that funny wand that is flat on one side, and then when you turn it, it's curved. So I had the hardest time trying to figure this one out and how to use this to really get my lashes coated. I saw no curling. I saw no lengthening. I did see volume, but primarily the wand just did nothing to help me. And the wand just was so strange to use. And the coat on my lashes was very inconsistent because of that. So not one I'll be repurchasing. If I get any of these in the future in subscription boxes, as I just toss it on the floor. Sorry about that. So if I get these in the future, I will definitely pass it on. But this is one that a lot of people do love, so that's why it's probably surprising that I don't. And then the last one that I did not like and didn't quite finish is from Lancome, and it's the new Lash Idol. This was so hyped, and I know I'm probably in the minority, but I hated this. I didn't mind the wand. I do like a good curving wand, but it did volumize, but I didn't see any length. I saw no lengthening. I saw really very little definition. My lashes kind of got a little gunked together. You know, I just was not a favorite of mine. I really did not like this. And I know that you're going to, you know, be surprised to hear me say that, but this was not a good one in my opinion. The experience I had was not good with this. So again, this is one of the ones that I will not repurchase. Now I have the mascaras that I loved. The first one here is from Tom Ford, and this is the Extreme Mascara. All right, so sorry about that. My camera cut me off. So I was talking about mascaras, and I had shown you all the mascaras that I did not like and would not be repurchasing. Now, there were some here that I'm going to show you that I did like, some of which I will repurchase. Let's start off with this one. So this was the Tom Ford mascara I started to mention. It says this is their Extreme Mascara. So this is what the wand looks like. It's a little bigger than I like for a wand, but I liked the formula. It went on well. You know, I did see some length and some volume in here, so that's a nice one, but it's so pricey, I would not repurchase it for that reason. Then we have a nice inexpensive one from the drugstore. This is from Revlon. This is the So Fierce Mascara, and this one I loved. I'm not a huge fan of Revlon products other than some primers, and maybe a couple of their newer shadow palettes, but I loved this one. It has that nice tapered brush. It went on well. I did see length with this. I saw definition. It stayed in place for hours. This was something that I really enjoyed, and I would repurchase this in the future. Then I have this one here from L'Oreal. This is the Voluminous Original, and this one is in deep green. And I bought this, I want to say, a year ago, and I used it off and on. And then I really, as of late, I have not been using colored mascaras. Again, that brush, it's just a little bigger than what I like, but it's not a deal breaker for me. And I like the formula on this one. This one, I did see a little bit of flaking underneath, but not bad. But this one, I won't repurchase colored mascaras again. Now we'll move on to this one, a very pricey mascara, which I used to love back in the day. And it had been, oh gosh, 8 to 10 months since I had used this one. So I went out and I said, so I'm going to get another one of that mascara. It's very pricey. I got this at Nordstrom. But I used to love this one. Well, here is what this looks like. It's got a bit of a fuller brush. But when I used this the last time, I really said to myself, really, what was so special about this? I didn't really, it was not a bad mascara, but for the money that you pay for it, I want to see length and volume and definition, and I wanted to keep a curl, and and I decided, you know what, I don't know what I saw in it before, but I don't see anything. I don't see the same, I didn't have the same result as I did the last time. Here's another one that I loved. This is from Tarte. This is the Tarte C Surfer Curl Mascara. This one's really nice. I really like this one. I use the sucker all up. So this is the wand, fairly narrow. I like the formula. It glides on really nicely, adds a bit of length, which is nice, some volume, some definition. But the one thing I found about this is it dried out really fast. So this one I used, I want to say just 3 months, and it was done. I like to keep my mascaras, depending on the amount of time I use them, I like to keep them up to 4 or 5 months, depending. If I don't use it that often, 4 or 5 months. If I use it a lot, 3 months. But this one, I had so many open that I just wanted to use this one up and move on. And it did dry out pretty fast. But I have one in backup that I will pull out at some point. Here's going back to drugstore. This is becoming one of my favorite drugstore mascaras. This is the Maybelline Lash Sensational Sky High Mascara. This one was the one I reached for constantly. I loved this mascara. Why am I having a hard time pulling that out? Oh, that got stuck. Oh no, there must have been some left in the tube. The stopper, this I've had in my empties for a while. The little stopper stuck to the wand. But anyway, this is, you can't tell, but it's a very small tapered wand. And yeah, and I loved the way my lashes look. No flaking, no transfer, and one of my favorites. I have a backup I have a backup of this in my backup drawer that I will pull out in a little while. Now here's a Lancome mascara that I can wrap my head around. This one is the Monsieur Big from Lancome. This one I loved. What happened to the camera there? So this one I loved. This one is really nice. Again, it's a little bit of a wider applicator, a little bit wider wand. The formula is great. It goes on smoothly, adds just that nice definition, that volume, and a little lengthening. I didn't see any flaking or smudging, and so I will definitely repurchase one of these in the future. This one I started using, I got it in an Ipsy bag, and I thought, my Ipsy Plus, and I thought, oh, interesting. Okay, this is a new brand by Addison Rae, who's a YouTuber, an influencer here on YouTube, and she came out with her own brand called Item Beauty. And I thought, well, I started using this mascara, and I love it. Absolutely love it. So much so that I just recently bought a backup, and it's in my backup drawer. So this is the Item Beauty Lash Snack Lengthening Mascara. And when that says lengthening, I mean it's lengthening. I love, love, love this wand. It is a short wand. It's a tapered wand. The formula is great. I definitely saw lengthening with this, which I love, and I have repurchased it. And I will continue to repurchase it. So one more affordable here. This is from Morphe, and this is their Make It Big Bold Black Mascara. And I bought this, and I bought the primer, the lash primer. Well, I love the lash primer. The mascara is not bad. It is not bad. It has that hourglass shaped wand, which is not entirely my favorite, but it does really add definition and a little bit of length and some volume. And It's not my all-time favorite, but it's a great mascara. So if you're interested, it's very reasonably priced. You can get it at Ulta. Now we have a very pricey mascara here. This one is from Mcgrath Labs. This is the Fetishized Mascara. And that's what it looks like. I wasn't a tremendous fan of this. It was not my favorite. I don't really care for the wand too much. It's very wide and it's very sort of stocky. You know, it's not tapered. But this didn't do a whole lot to my lashes. Again, it's not a bad mascara. In fact, it has quite a cult following. But for me, it's just a so-so mascara and probably not one that I would repurchase. Now we got another pricey one. The last two are high-end, and this one is very pricey as well, but not as much as the Pat McGrath. This is from Chanel, and this is the Inimitable Intense Mascara. And I love this version of Chanel's mascara. This is a great mascara. So it has that perfect sized tapered wand. The formula is fantastic. It goes on smoothly. It lifts and curls the lashes. It lengthens them and gives volume. And I found I don't recall any flaking or transferring with this. And I will repurchase this in the future. And lastly is another high-end mascara, not as pricey as the Chanel or the Pat McGrath. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Lash Brag Volumizing Mascara. Now, I got this in a subscription box. I think it was BoxyCharm Premium did a takeover of ABH. And I got this in my box, so I did use quite a bit. Again, it has that big hourglass wand, which I'm not a huge fan of, but you know what, in between, it gives me a little variety. I liked the formula. I didn't see a whole lot of length with this one, but it says it's a volumizing mascara. So I expected a lot of volume and some definition, which I got, and not a lot of lengthening though. And the big thing for me is I'm willing to try a lot of mascaras once, and that's what I'll do with this. I think I have one I got in I think I got one in another subscription, and I have that in backup. I may keep it, I may put it in, you know, a giveaway. So that was it for my mascaras that I have used up. And lastly, I want to talk to you about a brush cleaner. So I discovered this system on, I think it was Amazon. I love this system, and I love the brush cleaner that it comes with. It's called Style Pro Invented with Love, and it's a vegan makeup brush cleaner. And I've got totally ran out. I bought ordered 2 more bottles on Amazon, which I received a little while ago. So I have got a whole bunch of brushes I need to wash, and so I really need to get busy doing that one of these days, but I have plenty of brush cleaner now. This is totally empty. So, and I would definitely continue to repurchase. I love this Style Pro system. So that was all my empties. That's taking a trip through my trash and looking at all my empties. That is my empties that I have been saving up to show you guys and to give you full reviews on the product. If you enjoyed and this was helpful, please give me a thumbs up, as that really helps out my channel and I do appreciate it. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you're advised of all my future uploads. And with that, I thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.